Deckard. Those are your introduction of officials brought to you by Compton and Compton Eye Care. Go back to the studio for our keys to winning, brought to you by Mason Barnes for Judge Executive. Okay, just play that and give it back.
Oh my goodness. They're straight up reading scripts over there.
Do what?
Get 'em, cats. Get 'em. Get 'em.
All right, come back in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Those are your keys to winning, brought to you by County Judge Executive candidate Mason Barnes, who says one key to winning at football and winning in our community are the same: having the right people in the right positions. He looks forward to being in the position of Simpson County Judge Executive. Tonight's coin toss is brought to you by Franklin Pharmacy at 810 North Main Street. Franklin Pharmacy is proud to be a sponsor of Wildcat football. Stop by or call them 270-813-1101. Their friendly staff is ready to serve your prescription needs. The Wildcats won the toss, elected to receive. So we will see the Wildcats on the offensive side of the ball first here tonight. Tyler, rain has picked up just a little bit here at Warren East. Don't know on this turf field if that will make it be a major play or not. I wouldn't think so.
No, it shouldn't be.
It's not a hard rain. It's just raining enough to really know it's raining. Lots of umbrellas and rain jackets and coats out here nonetheless, and quite a group gathered together here in front of us.
All of the Warren East section is gathered together directly in front of us.
Trying to
They're
keep
not really
each
flanking
other
much.
dry, no doubt. So a good contingent of fans as always from Franklin Simpson, excuse me. 62 degrees as we get ready for kickoff, and looks like we may have rain throughout tonight. So, but if it doesn't get any harder than this, not a major problem at all. Warren East is on the field, ready to kick it off. The Wildcats just about ready to break huddle and come out, and we're going to get this thing started here. District championship on the line here at Warren East tonight, and as we talked about earlier, this is just something the Wildcats have come accustomed to. Of course, these two teams, as you mentioned, Tyler, played each other last year in the district championship game. And here we are, season later, for a rematch. Now, I will tell everybody listening, Warren East is wearing bright mustard-colored uniforms, and nobody in the press box can see their numbers. So just bear with me tonight. I'm not great to start with. This makes it even harder. So
us colorblind folk
yes,
really struggle.
Being colorblind on top
they
of
might
this.
really should have considered having two colorblind people up here together.
Yeah. We are underway. Kickoff is away, and it's going to roll out of bounds, and that'll be a flag as for a free kick out of bounds. And the Wildcats will get good field position to start off the night.
Well, Brian, I guess that's one way to keep it away from Leo and Trey Bass
yes,
back
just
there.
Kick it out of bounds, yeah.
You kick it to one of them, the risk for where they could end up at is a lot worse than the 35-yard line.
Absolutely. So the Wildcats will have it 1st and 10 at their own 35 as we get started here on a not warm, but not cool.
Warmer than it has been.
Yeah, warmish Friday night, second straight week of a little rain in the area, however. Wildcats didn't let it affect them last week. Hopefully they won't this week. Handoff, first play to McKinney. He crosses the 35 up to the 38. Give him 3 on first down. It'll be 2nd and 7. Enjoyed a nice dinner at Smoky Pig Barbecue right down the street here pregame tonight. Brian Davis ate enough ribs. I don't know. I doubt they've got any left. He packed some out with him.
He packed some. He had to sit there and stare at him and really think about if he wanted to go ahead and finish him off or take him for the road.
They actually marked it at the 39, so a gain of 4. Richardson's under center, takes the snap, gives this one to Bass. He's got a lot of running room. He's gone. 40, 35. Ran out of bounds at about the 20-yard line. Huge gain on second down from Trey Bass.
And Brian, me and Brian Davis.
They'll mark it, Tyler.
Yeah,
they'll mark it at the 24 exactly.
Me and Brian Davis, we talked to Trey Bass a bit at the District 13 soccer tournament, and he was talking about this game in particular, about really looking forward to this matchup. Not really head-to-head, of course, in football, but you've got Thomas Maxey on the other side at running back. He really wants to send a big statement in this matchup.
Absolutely. He starts off on a good note here tonight. Here's the handoff this time to McKinney. First down, I believe. He's close. He's inside the 15 to the 14. That should be good enough for a first down, depending on the spot. He's about a half a yard short. Be second and a short yard. Just underway, 10:45 left first quarter. Wildcats driving early. Fourth play of the night is a 2nd and 1 from the 14. Handoff. McKinney has the first down and then some. He's chased out of bounds inside the 10. Looks like at around the 6 or 7 yard line. We'll see exactly where they mark it. It's on the opposite end of the field from where we are. It's at the 7, so first and goal at the 7 for the Wildcats.
And Brian, be ready for a really good dose of Carlos McKinney tonight. We see a lot of him every game, but this game in particular, we talked about the size Warren East has up front, not too much up there.
Yep.
Carlos about the size of all of their defensive linemen, probably bigger, so expect to see a lot of him going right at him.
Here's a handoff. Guess who? Carlos McKinney. Let's see, no sign yet. He's down at the 1 inch
about the 1 inch line,
literally. Yeah. And both side judges had it, so they had the exact same spot. So it'll be second and goal at literally the 1 inch line. This is where you might just see Luke fall forward with it, and you got yourself a touchdown.
At this point, he could just take the snap and kind of poke the ball out, literally 1 inch, and get the touchdown for the Wildcats.
Luke gets up, snuggled up under center. No, he'll hand it off. Touchdown, Wildcats, Carlos McKinney. Let him finish off the drive.
Yeah, he got you down there to the 1 inch line, so you might as well let him pile drive through there. Warren East didn't put anybody over center on the play, so Luke could have easily fallen down. But the play to Carlos worked either way. Nobody was there. He walked in untouched until he was about 3 or 4 yards deep in the end zone. A fantastic first drive for the Wildcats, striking quick as we've gotten so used to with this offense.
He'll get credit for a 1 yard touchdown run. Cole Hollingsworth in to try to make it a 7-0 ball game. Snap back, ball down, kick is up, and it's right through there. It's good, and the Wildcats with 9:47 left first quarter lead it 7-0. You're listening to Wildcat Football on WFKN. Back underway at Jim Ross Field at Warren East High School. Kickoff is away, and I think that was Maxey. It was Maxey. He's on the return out to about the 16-yard line. That's all he'll get. That's where the Raiders will take over. That was a 6-play, 65-yard drive in 2 minutes and 13 seconds. Wildcat scoring drive brought to you by Brent Thacker and your all-star insurance team at Ohio Valley Insurance. Give them a call at 270-253-5016.
Brian, we both talked about in the break. This is the matchup we're really looking forward to. We knew this Wildcats offense would be in for a pretty good game. Let's see how the defense can handle Maxey and this Warren East offense.
Ford hands it off to Maxey. Nothing doing. Who was that? Connor Rogers dropped him for a loss in the backfield.
Maxey on the carry. Tackle by Rogers.
Well, he tried to go ahead and put a pretty definitive answer to that question, didn't they? First play, just popped back there into that backfield. These linebackers have been so good for Franklin. They're going to be the key in this matchup. You're going to have multiple guys with eyes on Maxey all the time, but a really good first play for this defense to set the tone.
Loss of 2, 2nd and 12. Ford in the shotgun. Wants to throw it this time. Steps back, throws it across the middle. Incomplete. Had a man open and was going to pick up a few yards, just went right through his hands. It'll be 3rd and 12. Was intended for Blaine, Seth Blaine, the tight end, and ball Tyler he should have caught, honestly.
Yeah, throw was on target. It was underneath. The Wildcats were zoned back a bit, just trying to hold and prevent a first down, a big play right there. Because of that drop now you got the 3rd and long. And last game we really saw the Wildcats pin their ears back and bring the blitz on this. We'll see what they choose to do here. Maybe try to force a turnover.
Ford stays in the shotgun. Takes the snap. It's a low one. He has it across the middle. Way overshot his receiver. Lands at midfield. Incomplete. And Warren East go 3 and out on their first drive of the series. Lose 2 yards, as a matter of fact. And they'll punt it away on 4th and 12 with 8:57 left first quarter. Wildcats up 7-0.
And if you're the Wildcats and you force Warren East to start out at their own 16, and then Maxey only touches the ball one time, especially he goes backwards with that one touch, that's about as successful as a first drive for the defense as you could have had. Any drive where Maxey only touches it once is a good one, but especially one where you're going to get the ball back in really good field position.
Stutzman standing at midfield waiting on this punt. Snap is back. It's good. Not a bad punt. Called it almost in his tracks. Being chased and had a good tackle over there. Can't give credit because I have no idea who it was. But a good tackle nonetheless. And the Wildcats will have it 1st and 10, but in Raider territory at the 46-yard line. So a return of 4 yards for Stutzman.
If you're the Wildcats, this is the exact formula. These last few games, the Wildcats, they've really been rolling on both sides of the football, and this is the formula they followed. Play really good defense, force quick 3 and outs. If you don't get the 3 and out, either force a turnover or just get the punt as fast as possible to where you're giving the offense the ball either within about 10 yards of the opponent's territory or you're right there already at the 45 in Warren East territory.
Handoff this time is to Bass. 45, 40, 35, runs over a man inside the 35. Oh, that was Buzz Partinger. Man, those guys, they look so much alike.
And they play so similarly.
Yes, that was Tedrick Partinger. Excuse me, Tedrick.
You can tell they've been playing together for years in this system.
Yes. We were talking about him at dinner tonight, Tedrick, and he would start for most of the teams we played this year. He would be the featured back, and what a job he does when he comes in. 1st and 10 at the 33. Handoff. Trey Bass to the 31. Gain of only a couple on that one, and a flag after the play. We'll see who this one's on. 2 flags, as a matter of fact.
I know Tedrick was in there for the Wildcats, so there could be something coming in on him. But I think it could end up being offsetting. There were a couple of guys from both teams in there. Just some extracurricular activities going on.
Waiting on the official's call. Dead ball, personal foul against Warren East. Dead ball, personal foul, Franklin Simpson. Offsetting penalty.
Sometimes we get it right, you know.
Sometimes
we get it. I know you've been lately you've been the master of getting the ball spotting right. So I guess I got to get something right to kind of counter that out.
The years I spent as spotter for Mr. Mooneyhand pay off every once in a while. So, all right, so we'll just redo it. 1st and 10 at the 2nd and 8. Handoff, Bass. 1st down and then some. He's running hard. He's to the 20. Give him 11 on that run for a 1st down. Actually, the 19, excuse me.
And we knew him and Carlos would both have a little extra pep in their step coming into this matchup. I know Davis had kind of talked about, McKinney and Bass put together versus Thomas Maxey. We said we'll take Bass and McKinney every day, and so far they're proving us to be pretty right about that.
Speaking of McKinney, there's a handoff. He has no running room there and a flag down where you would expect to see holding. Nope. That's a chop block, I think.
Yeah.
Don't see that very often. I had it right. Wow. It's against the Wildcats.
We
by
are
the way.
just on a roll. Enjoy this while it lasts, because it won't last too much longer.
It won't. Takes it back to the 27. It'll be 1st and 18. Handoff. Bass. A little running room. And some more extracurricular play after the whistle. Ball's at the 21, so 7 yards on that carry for Bass. It's 2nd and should be about 2nd and 12, 2nd and 11. Scoreboard says 2nd and 18. That's not right. Never pay attention to the scoreboard. Ball's on the ground, I believe that time. Tried to hand it off to Bass, and the Raiders have it. Don't think Trey was expecting that handoff. Luke tried to give it to him. Ball falls to the carpet, and the Raiders have it.
And that's something that Warren East, they haven't had a lot of big plays this year, but when they have, almost every single one of them have been recovering fumbles. They had a big fumble recovery against Allen County, Scottsville. So this is something they've excelled in. They're, one of those situations where the ball's just on the ground. Whoever makes a play to get it ends up making a play for their team. And Warren East really needed that to try to stop some of that momentum that Franklin Simpson was building up.
They'll have it at their own 21, 1st and 10. Forward in the shotgun. Hands it off to Maxey. He has absolutely nowhere to go, but gets a little bit out of it to the 25. Maybe the 26, actually. He got 5 yards, and he made something out of nothing there.
Yeah, we're pretty used to when our linebackers are in pursuit of somebody, we've become so accustomed to those guys just immediately chasing them down and being able to make the play. Maxey very quick, about as close to a Trey Bass kind of guy that we're going to see on the other team from anybody in the state. Very explosive, very quick, and that was a good run from him just to pick up the 5 yards because he had multiple guys with him in the backfield.
Brings up a 2nd and 5 from the 26. 6:15 left first quarter. Proctor goes in motion. Handoff. Maxey, he has a 1st down, I believe. Crosses the 30. He's close if he don't have it. And he does have it. 1st down Raiders at the 31.
And that was a good play design by Warren East. You put Proctor into motion, make it look like he might be getting some kind of cross screen to that side, and then just come back with the draw to Maxey. Catch the defense off guard. That's going to be something that you've got to do to this Wildcats defense. We know how stout they are. You can't just run it directly at him. You're going to have some kind of misdirection, some kind of trickeration to try to throw them off their game and just pick away at them piece by piece. That 1st down there big for Warren East.
1st and 10 at the 31. Forward takes the handoff. A snap, gives it to Maxey again. Not much that time. Connor Rogers was in there again, along with A.J. Burr. He gains just a yard on that carry. It'll be 2nd and 9.
That was A.J. Burr with the tackle on that play. Him and Jacob Chandler up there up front, they get lost so often because it's kind of like the offensive line and defensive line both. You really just accidentally ignore those guys, but Burr and Chandler have been excellent. 57 tackles this year between them, 17 for loss.
Handoff. Maxey tries to get to the right. Nothing doing. Tedrick Partinger chased him out of bounds. And that'll bring up a 3rd down and long. No gain on the play. 3rd and 9.
And Brian, that time with Tedrick in pursuit, you can have some pretty sure faith that not many people are going to outrun him. He took a perfect angle on that play, had a beat on it from the snap. And another one of those 3rd and long situations where the Wildcats can either be aggressive, try to force a mistake, sit back in coverage and try to force the punt and switch the field position, get the offense back out there ready to go.
Forward takes the snap, gives it to Maxey. A lot of running room. He's across the 40, 45, midfield, and finally chased out of bounds. by Stutzman right at midfield, but not before he picks up a first down for the Raiders. Good run there.
And that time the Wildcats were aggressive. They brought the blitz, and some people don't understand when a team blitzes on a pass blitz why it is that sometimes the team can counter with a run. They're completely different concepts. And when you're blitzing for the pass, first of all, your eyes aren't on the running back. That's not your assignment. So that time, another good play call from Warren East to pick up the first down. They continue to move the chains. This Wildcats defense needs some kind of play to get a little bit of momentum back.
First and 10 at midfield. Ford wants to throw, looks left, feeling pressured. Now he'll try to run with it. He'll pick up about 3 yards for a host of Wildcats swarmed him under. Be 2nd and 7.
And Brian, I know we talked about to beat this Franklin Simpson defense, you've got to try to switch some stuff up. I don't know if I'm Warren East if I'm trying to throw the ball on first down. I think if I've got a 1st and 10 like that, I'm just trying to get the ball in Maxie's hands. That's one of those situations you're expected to run it, but that's one of those guys with Maxie, you just got to get him the ball as much as you can.
Absolutely. 4 wide receivers this time for the Raiders. Ford will hand it off to Maxie. Nothing doing. He's dropped back for a 2-yard loss. Terry Scarborough was the first Wildcat there. Good night in there as well.
There
Good
he
to
is.
see Trayvon out there. Trayvon, 4 tackles for loss last week against Warren Central in his first game of the year.
His first game of the season, we were wondering, would he have a little rust? Would he be in good game condition? He absolutely was. 4 tackles for loss in 1 game.
I really think that game last week was a good first game
Absolutely.
for him. Against opponent you were going to beat, gives him some good runs out there.
Yes, absolutely.
Kind of breaks things back in. 3rd and 9 now. See if the Wildcats can get off the field this time on 3rd down. Ford wants to pass. He wants to go deep. He's got 1 Raider and 3 Wildcats out there, and it should have been picked. Dre Atkins should have had it, and he knows it. Falls to the ground, incomplete. Dangerous pass there by Ford. As I said, 1 Raider and 3 Wildcats in coverage. And the Raiders will choose to punt it away on 4th and 9.
It looked like there the Wildcats almost accidentally defended each other. I think Dre was a little confused as to what was going on. Ball hit him right in the hands. One of those situations where you wish you could come down with that one, but at the same time you make the play to force the 4th down. And now regardless of what happened on that play, your offense is set to get the ball back.
Stutzman back deep for the Wildcats. Snaps back. Punt is away. That's a good punt. It's going to land inside the 15 and be downed at the 3-yard line by the Raiders. Good punt coverage there. And the Wildcats will have their work cut out for them here deep in their own territory. Of course, there is a big game going on tonight here in Bowling Green as the Spartans and the Bowling Green Purples are playing out at South Warren. We'll try to get you some updates from around the area, not only that score, but others as well.
And they ended up marking that ball down at the 2-yard line. So the Wildcats pinned back deep, like you said. Sure, we'll see a lot of Carlos McKinney to try to get out of this hole.
Handoff is to McKinney, and he gets him out of the hole. He's across the 5, across the 10, the 11, the 12, before he's finally chased out of bounds after picking up a first down.
I am on some kind of roll. And speaking of rolling, Carlos just rolled through about 3 or 4 defenders, and then in the end, it took about 3 or 4 more to end up taking him down. So about 8 guys from Warren East right there had their hands on McKinney. And that's what it took to get him down eventually, and that was just because he ran out of room and ended up out of bounds.
Gets all the way out to the 14 and a first down. Rain gets just a little bit heavier, not too bad. Easy for me to say. I'm in a press box. Handoff, Trey Bass.
That's Partinger.
That is Partinger. Man, he tricks me every time. Thank you for my spotters.
They need to give one of them sleeves, I think.
Yeah.
And Trey sometimes will wear sleeves. Of course, now it's raining and he chooses not to, so that helps a lot. Doesn't matter who's had it this game, though. All the running backs just running really well. Seems like I said, they've got a little extra something in there with Maxie on the other side watching them put on a show.
By the way, it was a gain of 13 by Partinger, all the way out to the 28 after just 2 plays. Luke dries his hands off, takes a snap, gives it to McKinney this time. Across the 30 to the 31, about 3 yards on first down. Good run defense there by the Raiders. You watch an offense like the Wildcats run and you think, how hard could it be to stop? Somebody's going to run the ball.
Right.
It's not that easy to stop.
The problem is, 1, you don't know who's going to run the ball. 2, you don't know where they're going to run it. And 3, they are not easy to take down at all. Even you could know everything.
Yes.
And they still going to break your tackle.
2nd and 7. Handoff. McKinney again to the 36. Gain of 5. It'll bring up 3rd and 2. Rogers? It was Connor Rogers.
Well, I think they're just messing with us at this point.
They're
just trying to get in your head.
They marked him at the 35, actually, so it'll be 3rd and 3.
Well, Connor, another one of those big guys. We talk about Carlos having linebacker size. Well, Connor is a linebacker, so if you can run him up the middle, why not?
Handoff, Bass. I know that. First down and then some to the 45-yard line. First down, Wildcats.
And if you're the Wildcats, you had this tough starting field position, but at the same time, you've had an opportunity here because you had that rough start. You've had a chance to build one of those long drives where you're just going maybe a 5-yard play and then maybe a 2-yard play to set up a 3rd and short, and then you convert that. This is one of those drives the Wildcats are going to need to be able to have. It's great to be able to explode for a 2 or 3 play drive, but you're going to have these, especially come state tournament time.
1st and 10 at the 46. Handoff. That's Stutzman this time. He's across the 45, across midfield into Raider territory. And a late flag does come in from the back judge.
Yeah, a couple come in there from the secondary.
We'll see what this is about. Holding against the Wildcats. That takes it back into Wildcat territory at the 42. So costly penalty there. And it'll make it 1st and 14. With 20 seconds left as the clock runs. This should be probably the last play of the first quarter, if the Wildcats decide to snap it. Down to 11 seconds. They do snap it. Handoff Bass. Across the 40, 45, midfield, other 45. He's near a first down. And that will do it for the first quarter. Time runs out. We've played 12 minutes. Wildcats lead it 7-0. You're listening to Wildcat Football on WFKN. Whoever it is has a first down. That is McKinney. It was McKinney. He has it to the 41 and a Wildcat first down.
Of course, Brian, we've seen that South Warren defense in person. It was
Stout.
quite the thing to see. They have speed everywhere. I'd say you're right. That's going to be quite the defensive game. I think in Bowling Green tonight, this is going to be the offensive showcase to come out and watch. 2 really explosive offensive. We saw the Wildcats on that first drive score in just over 2 minutes, and now we've had this drive started out at their own 2-yard line, now pushing into Warren East territory.
But very surprising, only 7 points on the board after the first quarter. Handoff Bass. He hits it the hole hard and gets hit hard, and there's a late scramble. I don't know if the ball popped out or not. I think Warren East seems to think that it did.
One of the coaches on the sideline thinks so.
No sign yet from the referee. And it's going to be stay Wildcat ball, but there is a injured Raider down. No, it's Raider ball. Ball was fumbled. And they signal the ball belongs to the Raiders. So the second Fumble of the night for the Wildcats.
And that right there is why there aren't more points on the board for the Wildcats.
true.
Had the fumble early on, a miscommunication, we thought, between Richardson and Bass, and now this one, ball was just put on the ground. Warren East, once again, heads up play to come up with it. Another one of those plays where the Wildcats were really building momentum on one of those long, sustained drives, just wearing down that Warren East defense. And now you've got one of those game-changing plays where Warren East has an opportunity to get right back in it and tie it up on this drive.
You know, in a game where, you know, I think to a man everybody would say Franklin's the overwhelming favorite here.
Right.
But the longer you let a team hang around, the more chances you give them,
Right.
the more belief they're going to have that they can stay in this game. So hopefully the first turnover didn't cost the Wildcats. Hopefully the second one won't as well.
And especially in a situation like this, senior night, emotional night, district championship on the line as well.
Forward in the shotgun, takes a snap, gives it to Maxey. He's dancing around. Good run on first down. Almost to the 45 at about the 43. So he gained 6 on first down.
And the Raiders run a different offense. Obviously, from the Wildcats, you'll see stuff a lot more spread out, multiple receivers in there. But Maxey's running style, very similar to Trey Bass's. Both guys patient in the backfield. They'll kind of shuffle their feet a bit, dance around until they see their hole. And when they see it, they burst right through it. Both guys extremely quick with their first step forward.
10:30 left second quarter. Wildcats lead at 7-0. 2nd and 4 for the Raiders from their own 43. Forward takes a shotgun snap, 3-step drop, wants to throw it. Got a man out here, underthrown. Partinger breaks it up. There is a flag down, however. Don't know if they're going to call pass interference here or if that flag's for something else.
They threw it right about when the ball was going to get there, so
Yep.
I assume it's going to be pass interference. I thought it looked like good coverage from up here, but of course, we're quite a distance from the play.
Holding on the Wildcats. So they
I guess
might have
Tedrick
called-
held him before, yeah.
must have called holding instead of pass interference.
Of course, if I had Thomas Maxey about to run past me, I'd probably reach out and grab a jersey as well.
So that takes the ball over into Wildcat territory at the 47. And a first down for the Raiders. Appreciate everyone joining us tonight. I know my buddy Andrew Cisco is listening. Good night to stay in and listen to a little high school football. Handoff. Maxey tries to jump over a man, not successful. Michael Punslin in there on the stop, along with A.J. Burr for the Wildcats. No gain, I don't think. It'll be 2nd and 10.
Ryan, so far the Wildcats have done a pretty good job of just trying to contain Maxey. They know they're going to get his touches. After that first drive, Warren East has really been feeding him the ball. There was that one big play on the 3rd down where they gave him the draw play, but since then they've really done a good job of just containing him, making sure that he does not make it to the outside. If you can keep him inside between the tackles and limit him to about 4 or 5 yards at best, you're doing a good job on defense.
Forward wants to throw it. Got a man open this time. Overthrew him out of bounds, thankfully for the Wildcats. Receiver kind of got turned around. Proctor, he got turned around and wasn't real sure where the ball was. Thankfully, if you're a Wildcat fan, he was open.
Yeah, and Proctor, only 5'6", but he is quite the speedster. He broke loose back there in the secondary. I've been watching him a little bit because I know he's got some very impressive stats, and it seems like basically his role is just to outrun the guy they've got covering. So, of course, the Wildcats now decided, well, you're going to run past us. We're going to put Trey Bass on you and see if you can do it then.
Hand off to Maxey. This time he's got some running room. He's still on his feet. And he's close to a first down. It was 3rd and 10, and he might have got, he may be a yard or two short, actually. Just short, about 2 yards. It'll be 4th and 2 for the Raiders, and they're going to stay out there and go for it. You got to at that position on the field. 9 minutes left, second quarter. Forward in the shotgun. Tries to draw the Wildcats off sides. They don't bite. So he looks back to get a new call from the sideline. They're going to call a timeout or take a delay of game one. They will call a timeout. Timeout on the field with 8:42 left, second quarter. Wildcats lead at 7-0. You're listening to Wildcat Football on WFKN. Down play is ran, and Maxey on the pitch back from Ford. I don't think he got it. He didn't. Wildcats step up and stop the fourth down conversion for the Raiders. Wildcats will take over on downs.
And you knew on that play Warren East was just going to try to somehow get it to Maxey with some room to work with. Wildcats were all over it, closed in on that near side immediately.
I don't like the play call, not so much the pitch, but you're pitching it to the short side of the field.
Right.
And to me, that just doesn't make good sense.
Especially after the play before, you would run it up the middle for 8 yards.
Against a fast defense,
yes.
Pitching it to the short side of the field, the Wildcat defense is just too quick for that.
The strength of this team on defense is their pursuit of the ball is if it hangs around in the backfield.
Handoff to, I'm not going to say either one right now because I don't know. That was Bass. Not any running room, maybe a yard on that carry.
Bass on the carry.
And the knock on wood, or not, no knock on wood, I don't know, but the Raider defense has really stepped up since that first drive. They've played a lot better.
They've had a lot of that bend, don't break mentality you hear about. The Wildcats have been getting their yards, but right now this defense just forcing turnovers and being able to capitalize and get the Wildcats offense off the field.
McKinney has it this time, and he's going to pick up 4 or 5, well short of the first down.
Tackle by
Blaine on the tackle for the Raiders.
And you know, Brian, personally, I think, of course, as a team, you obviously want to come out there, and if you could control it, you just blow them out every game. But if I'm Coach Preston, I'm not too upset right now just with the fact that this team needs a game like this where they're a big favorite coming in. Kind of like the Greenwood game early on. We saw the Wildcats struggle a little bit on both sides. This is one of those games, if you're going to have to grind it out, this is when you need to work on that because come playoff time, you're going to have multiple games like situations like this.
3rd and 5. Bass gets the handoff, and he has a first down to midfield. He needed 5, and he got 6. And that's a big first down for the Wildcats. Keep the clock moving, keep possession of the ball, and you're almost in Raider territory.
It's an offense that's been used to 3-play touchdowns, and now they're having to put together 3 plays just to get a first down. It's really good to see the offense still, though, continue to function. When they've had to turn to grinding it out, they've still been successful with that. And we know from watching this team, they are due for one of those big plays. It'll come if they just continue to grind out those few yards at a time.
Handoff this time is to Bass. He has about 4 yards on first down. It'll be 2nd and 6 as the rain gets heavier and the wind has picked up. I've noticed some people's umbrellas and jackets blowing around.
You know, the people listening are probably like, well, just every 10 or 15 minutes he's noting that the rain's getting heavier. That's exactly what's happening. It's just getting gradually and gradually slightly heavier, just enough for us to notice it. And that's just going to be how it is for the rest of this game. The rain is not projected to stop anytime soon.
2nd and 6 for the Wildcats. Handoff is to Bass. First down, 20, 15, 10, 5. Runs over a man and scores. 46-yard touchdown run, Trey Bass.
Wow. Show him who's daddy, Trey Bass. That was totally intentional. Go out of your way just to run the guy over. Who's just a speed back again? Not Trey Bass. That dude all offseason putting on weight, getting stronger and faster. And right there, a statement run from Trey Bass. I'm sure immediately afterwards he's thinking in the back of his mind, I bet Thomas Maxey liked that one.
Cole Hollingsworth on to try the extra point. Mr. Do It Everything, Trey Bass will be the holder. Bad snap. Trey does a good job of picking it up and getting it set up. And Hollingsworth does what he does and puts it through the goal post. With 6:07 left, second quarter, Wildcats now lead at 14-0. You're listening to Wildcat Football on WFKN. It was a 5-play, 61-yard drive in 2 minutes and 30 seconds, capped off by a Cole Hollingsworth extra point after a 46-yard touchdown run by Trey Bass. Wildcat scoring drive brought to you by Brent Thacker and your All-Star Insurance team at Ohio Valley Insurance. Give them a call at 270-253-5016. Wildcats lead at 14-0. 6:07 left, second quarter. Kick is away, and it goes out of bounds. And that'll give the Raiders good field position as they start. Their next possession will be at their own 35.
In defense of both kickers, these are about as poor of kicking conditions as possible at this point. Like you said, the wind now starting to pick up as well as the rain coming down. Wildcats offense, though, didn't seem bothered one bit by it. We knew they were due a big play at some point. Trey Bass, of course, the one we've been used to breaking one loose, does so there. A statement run and a statement hit, as you called it during the break for Trey. And now let's see if the defense can keep the momentum rolling. We've seen the Wildcats kind of start to get the momentum rolling their way, and then something would happen and just put a little stall on it. So we'll see if the Wildcats can get things going again with the defense.
Forward takes the snap, gives it to Maxey, 2 yards on first down. And if you'll look over at the American flag, remember how it looked when we did the national anthem?
Yeah.
Now look at it.
Yeah.
Wind's picked up quite a bit.
Oh, I got to lean for it.
The flag was totally motionless pregame, and it's standing out pretty good.
And it's blowing directly in the direction that both of the kicks that went out of bounds went.
Yep. 2nd and 8 for the Raiders from their own 37. Forward. Maxey, handoff. Nothing doing.
Oh,
ball on the ground.
I think Warney's got that one, yeah.
Connor Rogers and Colin Preston were both there. Not sure which one calls the fumble. But Blaine hops on it for the Raiders, and they're lucky to keep possession there. There were a lot of Wildcats in the neighborhood.
I tell you what, those Raiders on both sides of the ball, they just got a knack for jumping on those fumbles, don't they?
And now it'll be a official timeout. I guess they're wanting to get a dry football, or they're wanting to get Warren East's football. I guess they were still playing with Franklin's. Okay.
That might be why he coughed it up.
Maybe.
Who knows?
So, nevertheless, they lose a yard on it. It's 3rd and 9 with 5 minutes left, second quarter. Forward with 4 wide receivers. Puts a man in motion. He's going to keep it and run it. Nothing doing. That's not going to work on 3rd and 9 against this Wildcat defense.
Yeah, the run up the middle has had a little bit of success on 3rd and long for Warren East when it's been Maxey carrying the football. I'm not sure if you're going to run it up the middle. I don't know why you're taking it out of Maxey's hands. I guess the quarterback draw there, you're thinking, well, they won't see this one coming. Yep. We got 5 guys wide, but the Wildcat front just too strong and too powerful off the line to try something like that. You know, pretty much immediately, if it's a pass play like that, that offensive line is not going to be able to handle the Wildcats' defensive line 5-on-5.
Nolan Ford, the quarterback, will stay on and punt yet again for the Raiders. Stutzman back deep at his own 30 for the Wildcats. Here's a snap. Ford drops it.
Blocked.
Barely gets it away. It's blocked. It'll land in Raider territory. And the Wildcats are going to have great field position at the Raider 44 to start this drive, after Bass just ran a 46-yard touchdown run on the last drive from right about this spot on the field.
I was wondering if a Wildcat might at some point get back there to 40. He had some time to kind of just fumble around with it after he dropped it. Good, though, by the Wildcats to just stay in pursuit and keep trying to get back there. Of course, we know those punt blocks have been a key for the Wildcats the past few weeks. Coach Preston really wants to see the Wildcats make big plays on special teams.
Richardson takes the handoff. He wants to throw it this time. Nobody's open, so he'll try to scramble, and he's hit hard after he picks up a couple of yards.
Richardson on the keeper.
Not something Luke's particularly comfortable doing is running the ball. When you have the kind of backs Franklin does, though, you don't need to be comfortable doing that. He had a man open originally, but the coverage broke down. I believe that was Covington that ran open over on the far side. Luke made a smart decision, and there was a flag on the play. Clipping on the Raiders. Okay. Or no, that's a block below the knees.
Illegal block below the knees.
Yep.
On Warren East.
And that's a biggie.
Yeah.
It's a 15-yarder all the way down to the 30-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Wildcats. I did not even see a flag on the field. Handoff. McKinney. A lot of running room. He's inside the 20 to about the 18. Give him 11.
And if you're the Wildcats offense, you're starting to get to that point where your defense was able to get Warren East offense off the field quick. You've been wearing this defense down for a while. You had the long drive that ended up with the fumble, but you kept that defense out on the field for a long time. You just had the touchdown drive, had the defense out there for a few more plays. This Franklin Simpson offensive line in particular doing a great job of wearing down the front for Warren East.
Handoff. McKinney. Slung down at about the 16.
McKinney on the carry.
Gain of 3 on that one. Be 2nd and 7.
A gain of 3. 2nd and 7 at the 16.
2:45 left, 2nd quarter. 14-0 Wildcats lead it. Richardson. Handoff. Bass. He's still on his feet, and he's near a 1st down. I believe he's got it.
Bass on the carry.
He's inside the 10 to the 8-yard line. That is a 1st down. It'll be 1st and goal for the Wildcats.
And Brian, despite these rainy, cold, windy conditions, these two backs, you can throw Partinger in there as well. They're really running with some purpose so far in this game. We haven't had, the big gains that we're used to. Of course, Trey broke loose the big run. But it seems like every single play, it is taking multiple Raiders to take these Wildcats backs down. That's something we're used to. But this game, it just seems like they got a little something different in their system.
Handoff. McKinney. He spins like a washing machine inside the 5. To the 4.
McKinney on the carry.
Gain of 4. It'll be 2nd and goal from the 4.
That looked like a point guard trying to keep a defender on his back right there. Carlos just turned his back to him and said, well, I know I can run through you when I face you, so I bet I can backpedal through you as well. And he sure did. Picked up a few yards doing it.
1.5 minutes left, 2nd quarter. Luke fumbles the snap. And I'm not sure he got back on it. I think Warren East may have. Still no signal. Yep, they're saying 3rd down, so it's Wildcat football. Very, very fortunate, Tyler, to ball may be slick. I mean, there's a lot of
Definitely.
a lot of things you could definitely chalk it up to tonight.
That's 3 times already the Wildcats have put the ball on the ground in this one. The first 2 recovered by Warren East broke up what was 2 good drives by the Wildcats, especially now down here inside the Raider 5. You can't afford to put the ball on the ground. You got to try to punch this one in and extend this lead before the half.
Down to a minute to play. 3rd and goal at the 3. Handoff. Think that's McKinney, but I'm not totally sure. So bunch of players piled up on top of each other there. And it's 4th down. He didn't get it.
It's another one of those 4th and 1 inch.
And we'll see what Coach Preston decides to do on 4th down. Official timeout. I think you got to go for it here.
Yeah, I'd just turn around and give it to McKinney and let him run through whoever's in his way.
It's an injured Wildcat. Reason for the official
That's
timeout.
Bass.
That's just Trey Bass for a fact. And all signs would point to the Wildcats going for it here. With 38 seconds, the clock runs. So this is do or die for the Wildcats here. 4th and goal from about the 1-yard line with now 25 seconds left, second quarter. Handoff. Touchdown, Wildcats. Carlos McKinney.
You know, it helps to be Franklin Simpson and have probably one of the best 4th and inches options in the state, and Carlos McKinney. That's now twice he's punched it in from about the 1 or 2 inch line in front of the goal line. Really good drive there from the Wildcats to put more points on the board before halftime.
That makes it 20-0, pending the extra point. I've never seen so many people don't know how to shut a door. Oh, not just them. Everybody that's been through that door had to shut it. Snap is back. Ball down. Kick up. Good. Hollingsworth makes it 21-0. And with just 22 seconds left here in the half, we'll keep it here. That was a very, I think, you didn't want a field goal there, Tyler.
Right. That was one of those drives you want to punch it in. One of those drives for the Wildcats that you need. I think it was about 8 or 9 plays for the Wildcats driving down the field. We're going to have to monitor the situation with Trey Bass. Saw him limp off the field there at the end. Hopefully he's okay for Franklin Simpson. But another really good drive, and they've had a couple of really good drives in this game. The fumble have been issues, but the offense so far has looked really good in terms of having both the big play but then creating when you need to in chunks.
That was an 8-play, 45-yard drive in 3:22. Wildcat scoring drive brought to you by Brent Thacker and your All-Star Insurance team at Ohio Valley Insurance. Give them a call at 270-253-5016. Thank you to the Warren East Athletic Director, Mr. Vincent, getting us taken care of here and having our booth ready for us tonight, and came up and made sure we had everything we needed. So thank you so much for that.
They sure did take care of it. It feels fantastic
It
up
does.
here.
I'm sitting here in short sleeves. So
yeah, we can't complain
great.
much about the weather.
Kickoff is a squib kick, and the Raiders fall on it at their own 30-yard line. But just 21 seconds left for them to try to do something, and you would think they may just kneel it and go to the locker room here. With the conditions, you try to get too fancy, you could fumble this thing away, and next thing you know, Wildcats have it again in scoring position. So we'll see what the Raiders and Coach Griffin decide to do.
Last thing you want is a fumble, or maybe you try to force the ball downfield, an interception, and the Wildcats get another opportunity to put points on the board.
It looks like they'll run a play, though. Forward in the shotgun. Keeps it himself. Has a good gainer. Gain of about 9 out to the 41, but that's going to probably do it. They'll mark it at the 40, but that's going to do it for the first half. We've played 24 minutes at Jim Ross Field at Warren East High School, and the Wildcats lead at 21-0. Your halftime tonight brought to you by Citizens First Bank and Ruby Branch Farms. We'll be back right after this. You're listening to Wildcat Football on WFKN. Wind is, once you get out in it, it's a lot stronger than you would think it even is sitting here. Pretty heavy rain, but the Wildcats are in charge right now, 21-0. Warren East will get the ball here to start the second half. Tyler, a couple of fumbles there, 3 fumbles, lost 2 of them. Or as we were talking about there at the half, with a good buddy of ours, Charles Lewis, a great Warren East supporter, has been for years. He feels like it could be 35-0 if Franklin doesn't cough it up a couple of times. So hopefully we won't see those fumbles come back and haunt us.
Yeah, one thing that he noted to us, not just could Franklin be up more in this game, while the Wildcats have had those fumbles, they've had those mistakes. So far, the Franklin defense has stepped up to make sure that Warren East has not been able to capitalize on those so far, just as easily as it could be maybe 35-0. It could be maybe 24 or 21-14, somewhere in that range. So good job by the Wildcat defense to step up and make sure that they're still pitching this shutout, and I'm sure that they're coming out in the second half with that same goal still in mind.
Cole Hollingsworth kicks it away in a heavy rain. Goes into the end zone. That'll be an automatic touchback for the Raiders. Looks like a few more empty seats than we saw in the first half, as some people, especially on the Warren East side, have chosen to seek higher ground, so to speak, and drier ground.
That is one of the perks that come with our jobs. We have that higher ground.
And we get in free. That's
yeah,
the biggest
that's
perk.
true.
So, stay dry and get in free. You don't hardly
That's
get
a
any
pretty
better
good
than
combo.
that. And get paid to be here.
That's true.
I mean, what can you beat? You can't beat that. Handoff to Maxey. He has just maybe a yard. Yep, they'll give him. They'll call it. Let's call it 2 yards on first down. Be 2nd and 8. How many yards Maxey have at first half, Davis? 39.
Yeah, Wildcats held him to 3 yards a carry in the first half, well below his season average. Leading rusher in 4A coming into this game. The Wildcats have done a very good job of containing him. And really that 39 yards came on, mostly just from 2 or 3 runs where he was able to get 8 or 9 yards on some chunk plays. So overall, this defense has done a great job of keeping him between the hashes and just limiting how much he's been able to get outside with some running room.
Blaine goes in motion. Handoff to Maxey. Not much doing. He's out to the 24. So it'll be 3rd and 6 for the Raiders.
And this is a situation, 3rd and medium, kind of long, where you would expect Warren East to throw the ball, but they've had this same kind of situation where they've opted to either run a draw, or we saw one time they let Ford take it himself up the middle, so we'll see what kind of play they draw up here to try to move the chains.
Conditions not real conducive to a passing game right now. We'll see what they do. He'll try to throw it. He wants to throw it deep. He's got a man out there. That's going to be pass interference. And that might have been a touchdown saving pass interference there by Dre Atkins. Probably not the worst pass interference idea you'll ever see right there. He was beat on that play, and the ball was a little underthrown.
Yeah.
It might not have been caught, but probably not a bad idea by Dre. He just kind of bumped into the receiver and knocked him down.
And that was one of those plays where Dre just never was able to get his head back around towards the ball, just ran straight into the receiver. And that's one of those plays there where if it's not raining and if the wind isn't blowing, that might be a touchdown for Warren East.
That moves it out to the 39-yard line of the Raiders. They'll have a first down. Proctor goes in motion. Handoff. Nothing. Back to the line of scrimmage for Maxey.
Maxey on the carry. Tackle by Punzelin.
Punzelin up for the Wildcats on that tackle. We've bragged on these linebackers all year, Tyler, but they just continue to get better and better as the season goes, and they are the leaders of this defense for sure.
Yeah, that front 7 as a whole has been so good for the Wildcats this year. You can throw Chase Gooch in there as well. He's had an excellent season, especially now you've got a key addition back in there with Trayvon. This front 7 is going to be one of the best that teams are going to run into.
2nd and 10 for the Raiders. Ford. Handoff. Draw play to Maxey. Nothing doing. Who was that?
That was Connor
Rogers.
Great tackle.
After a gain of just 1. And it'll bring up a 3rd and 9 for the Raiders from their own 40-yard line.
Plays like that distinguish a good player from a great player. There is a very fine line between an arm tackle and wrapping somebody up. And right there, Connor Rogers got his arms around and brought Maxey down. A grown man's tackle right there from Connor.
Three receivers at Ford's disposal this time. Maxey in the shotgun just to his left. Ford rolls to his left, wants to throw it. It's complete, but just short. Just about a 4-yard pickup there.
15.
That was
Forward pass is complete to Blaine.
Blaine, the tight end, Seth Blaine. And it'll be 4th down and 5 for the Raiders.
It'll bring up 4th down.
Would appear they're going to go for it.
At their own 44.
Down 21-0. 8.5 minutes left, third quarter.
And normally this is one of those situations where you've got, 5 or 10 plays you can pull from out of your playbook, but with the weather conditions being the way they are, that Warren East right now might only have 3 or 4 plays to go to here.
Ford wants to pass. He's under pressure. He'll be sacked. And they fumbled the ball. Raiders got back on it. And it's Wildcat football. Turnover on downs.
Once again, those big guys up front getting in there for the Wildcats. I saw Trayvon Goodnight back there. Saw A.J. Bird, Jacob Chandler. Everybody was just back there surrounding Ford, giving him nowhere to go. Great stand by the Wildcats defense to give this offense great field position. The perfect formula that has been clicking on all cylinders for this Wildcats team.
So 1st and 10 for the Wildcats from the 41. Handoff. McKinney. He's got a lot of running room. 25-20. He's brought down there. Excuse me. Gain of 21 on the play.
Important to note for the Wildcats, Trey Bass back out there. Someone goes down now for Franklin Simpson.
Maybe a cramp.
Yeah, it looks like it.
We'll try to find some scores for you from around the area while we...
Brian, I know South Warren was up 7-5 on Bowling Green. The Purples picked up a safety. Oh, now it's 10-5.
10-5 South?
Yep. In a defensive game like that, of course somebody would pull out a safety. And the injured Wildcat was Carlos, so he's limping off.
Yep.
Now you bring Trey back in, and then Carlos goes out.
So 1st and 10 for the Wildcats from the Raiders 20-yard line.
1st and 10 Wildcats at the Warren East 20.
Connor Rogers in the backfield. He gets the handoff, but he picks up about 4 yards on 1st down.
Rogers on the carry. A gain of 5. 2nd and 5 at the 15.
They'll call it a gain of 5, actually. They'll mark it right on the 15. Seven minutes left, third quarter. Wildcats driving. Handoff, Bass. He looks fine.
And he is fine.
Touchdown, Wildcats.
Bass on the carry.
Trey Bass from 15 yards out.
Like you said, Trey looked fine right off the handoff. A huge hole over there, and Trey had his eyes on the end zone. Another touchdown for him. He is having a fantastic game. We were worried about him going into the half, saw him limp off the field, but obviously he seems to be perfectly fine, and this Wildcats offense, of course, continues to be more than perfectly fine. An excellent unit. Another great game.
Yeah, all I could really say there was he's fine. Touchdown Wildcats. That's all it really needed to be said.
I mean, blocking was great. Run was great. Play was great. That's just what we've become accustomed to now.
Hollingsworth's extra point. Low snap again. Trey does another great job of picking that ball off the turf and setting it up. And Cole does his job, splits the uprights. With 6:53 left, third quarter, Wildcats in control, up 28-0. You're listening to Wildcat football on WFKM. Thomas Maxey takes the Cole Hollingsworth kickoff, catches it at the 2-yard line, and has a good return out across the 30 to the 32. So a return of 30 yards there by Maxey. good field position as the Raiders start with 6:45 left third quarter, trailing it 28-0. That was a 3-play, 41-yard drive in a minute and 6 seconds.
That's more like it.
Wildcat scoring drive brought to you by Brent Thacker and your All-Star Insurance team at Ohio Valley Insurance. Give them a call at 270-253-5016. Ford in the shotgun, takes a snap, wants to throw. He's feeling some pressure. Flag down. That's going to be a hold. He's just scrambling out to the right. And a hold on the Raiders. Going to drive them back. And that happened deep in the backfield, so that's going to be a big-time penalty there.
And Brian, on a play like that where the Raiders come out 5 wide and pretty much ran 5 verticals, you leave the quarterback back there on an island all by himself. If he doesn't get it out pretty quick, he's got nowhere to go with it. Bound to at some point, as long as he hangs around there in the pocket, there's probably going to be a holding flag come out sooner rather than later.
That's going to take it all the way back inside the 20 to inside the 15 to the 14-yard line. A first down comes at the 42. So it's 1st and 28 for the Raiders.
Probably not the best choice to come out with a Hail Mary on 1st and 10.
Maxey is in the backfield this time with Ford. He rolls to his right, wants to throw it. Nobody out there, but one Wildcat close by, not even close enough to have a chance at a pick, falls to the ground. It'll be 2nd and 28.
And the biggest thing playing in the Wildcats' favor right now is that weather. You're up 28-0 Warren Easton, an obvious passing situation. Going to be really tough to try to move the ball downfield. If you're Nolan Ford, it's going to be tough just to get a grip on the ball at this point. That rain continuing to come down harder and harder as the game goes on. Wildcats defense in a really good spot, especially with 2nd and 28.
He'll hand it this time to Maxey. Not much running room across the 15 to the 17, giving him 3 yards. Going to bring up a 3rd and 25. And no matter what level of football you're at, there's not a lot of plays in the book for a 3rd and 25.
Yes, you sometimes see a halfback draw, halfback slip screen. If I'm the Wildcats, I'm keeping my eyes on Maxey. On this play in particular, we've seen Warren East do that on some 3rd and longs, just try to put it into Maxey's hands, let him create something. So if I'm Franklin Simpson, I got a few guys with eyes on him, but then I'm also just making sure I don't give up the big play here.
2 receivers left, 1 receiver right, and a draw play to Maxey. Nothing doing. He's knocked down in the backfield. Connor Rogers. Thomas Maxey has run into a defense tonight, Tyler Eaton, that has had his number.
Yeah, we talked about the running backs for Franklin Simpson wanting to send a statement. I'm sure this defense wanted to as well. Thomas Maxey nearly 200 yards a game. Right now, he's not on course to get even close to that in this one, and that's what we expect from this defense. They have been excellent all season, especially against the run.
Nolan Ford, the quarterback and the punter. He has this snap, being pressured.
He just fell on it.
He fell on it. Probably not a bad idea because he was going to get absolutely snowed under.
That's probably a touchdown for Franklin Simpson if he doesn't.
So the Wildcats will take over at the Raiders' 7-yard line.
You know, I noticed they put 10 guys up on the line. I'm like, well, they're going to bring it. And boy, oh boy, did they bring it.
That's one of those that if you're Nolan Ford, for a moment you might think of just turning around, throwing it back out of the end zone.
My life would have flashed before my eyes in that split second.
Give him a safety, you know.
I'll give him credit for having the wherewithal to make the play and just fall down on it in that situation. I'd be like a deer in the headlights right then, like, please get it over with.
Wildcats 8 points away from a running clock. Lead at 28-0 with 5 minutes left in the third quarter. Handoff. That's Bass. Touchdown, Wildcats. Now the question will be, will they go for 2?
The play covers 7 yards.
And Brian, of course, in those deep in the red zone situations, we've usually seen the Wildcats go to McKinney. Something interesting on that one, that touchdown actually now ties Trey Bass with Thomas Maxey. I think there might have been a little of a reason that Trey Bass got the ball right
So
there.
you're probably right. They're going to kick the extra point.
Now, this is shocking. In most situations, we have seen Franklin Simpson go for 2 to get that running clock.
It's up, and it is good. So with 4:50 left, third quarter, Wildcats all over the Raiders on their way to a district championship. It's 35-0. You're listening to Wildcat football on WFKN. Seconds for the Wildcats.
Can they speed it up? I mean, come on, offense. Can we get going? 6 seconds. That's ridiculous.
Wildcat scoring drive brought to you by Brent Thacker and your All-Star Insurance team at Ohio Valley Insurance, 270-253-5016. Hollingsworth kickoff is into the end zone. Can't be returned, even though Maxey really wanted to. That'll be a touchback, and the Raiders will have it at the 20-yard line.
There's been a lot that Maxey's wanted to do this game that not the refs, but the Wildcats have just not allowed him to do this. Wildcats defense has been excellent. Talked about Trey Bass right now. He is winning this matchup of elite running backs. Got a lot of help, though, from that defense. You know, the defense Trey Bass is going up against, nothing against Warren East, not on the level of Franklin Simpson. We talk about this offense so much, but the defense is just as good, and that's what makes this team so dangerous moving forward.
1st and 10 from their own 20. Ford takes the handoff, gives it to Maxey. He's hit hard by Tedrick Pardinger. After about a 2 or 3 yard gain is all that was. 3 yards. It's 2nd and 7. That last touchdown caused even a few more Raider fans to hit the exits. They will host a home playoff game as runner-up in the district. I believe I heard they think they'll play Hopkinsville, I think is right.
And a good season overall for Warren East, really exceeded expectations just by getting that number 2 seed in the district.
They'd won 3 in a row coming into tonight. Here's a pass incomplete over the receiver's head as Ford got a lot of pressure there from Connor Rogers. Had to get rid of that one before he wanted to. Wildcat team really seems, Tyler, to be coming into form as we wind down the regular season. Offensively, and like you said, this defense gets often overlooked due to the power of the offense, but this is a good 4A defense by the Wildcats.
And one moment you wouldn't really think to look back on is maybe the turning point for the defense, but I think that South Warren game really was the turning point for this defense. They got embarrassed at home, and they've come out ever since that game. This defense has dominated Friday night after Friday night.
Warren East calls a timeout with 3:57 left third quarter, trailing 35-0. We will keep it here. Tyler, we'll see if we can find some scores at halftime. That was 20 minutes ago. It's the latest update we have, though. South Warren was leading Bowling Green 10-5. Interesting.
That's a thriller.
Halftime score. If you like defense,
that's the game. Absolutely.
Those two teams can play it. We know about South Warren Central. South Warren's defense. We don't know about Warren Central's defense.
Well, we know about it.
No offense, Brian Davis.
We know a lot about it.
Just not getting. Who does? Carlos has 96 yards. With 9:13 left in the third quarter, Allen County Scottsville 28, Warren Central 7.
Well, there that win.
The beat goes on for the Dragons. Third and 7 for the Raiders at their own 23. Ford steps back, wants to throw it. And the receiver didn't even know he had threw it yet, and the ball was already on the ground and rolled 20 yards. He was still turned around wondering where the ball was. So I believe that was Maxey.
Yeah.
I literally, and I can't overstate this enough, how I can't see these numbers. I can't see the numbers of the Warren East players that are standing on the same side of the sideline that we're on. That's how bad this is, people.
That's why the PA is such a blessing.
Yes. I don't know. There's only 5 of them, so it makes it a little easier then. Here's a punt away by Ford. Stutzman will let it hit. Not sure why he didn't try to return that one. Lands at the 45, and that's where the Wildcats will take over 1st and 10. So as it would shape out, if things hold true to form, Wildcats will win the district, obviously. Warren East will be the 2 seed, Allen County the 3 seed, and Warren Central the 4 seed. Obviously, that means the Wildcats and Raiders will get first round home games. The Patriots and the Dragons will go on the road. And we will know for sure after tonight how all the district games shake out. But it looks like the Wildcats would host Callaway County.
Brian, we saw in that last drive, the Wildcats had an opportunity to put that running clock on. They chose to kick the extra point instead. Got the first team offense back out again, maybe trying to get Trey Bass that 4th touchdown.
Luke wants to throw the ball. He's got a man wide open. It's Covington, and he dropped it. Javon Covington on a beautifully thrown ball by Luke Richardson. Had a touchdown. All he had to do was catch it at the 20-yard line, and he dropped it.
Warren East thought the same thing I did. They thought, well, they're going to try to feed it to Trey Bass a few more times. You pull out the play action. Warren East had no idea. Javon was back there, probably had 3 or 4 steps on everybody behind him. Beautifully thrown ball from Luke Richardson, something we've gotten used to the past few weeks. Good play execution, just couldn't finish it.
Handoff this time is to Partinger, I believe. Yep. He picks up about 4 yards to the 49. So it's going to bring up a 3rd and long now for the Wildcats.
And that's the luxury this Wildcats offense has. You can afford to throw it on 1st down. It's different for Warren East. If you're the Wildcats, you can throw it on 1st down. You've got this stable of backs that you know, even if you put them in a situation where they've only got 2 downs to get the 10 yards, you trust them to be able to do that every single time.
Actually, they did give him 5 yards. Marked it right at midfield, so it's 2nd and 5. 3rd and 5, excuse me. I'm looking at the scoreboard again. Trey Bass, 1st down, across the 40 to the 36. And a Wildcat 1st down. As a coach, how good of a feeling would it be, the 37, but how good of a feeling would it be to know that worst comes to worst, you just turn around, hand the ball to Trey Bass or Carlos McKinney or Tedrick Partinger.
I mean, just anybody back there.
Take your pick.
In most situations, you could go out there and throw a Hail Mary on 1st and 2nd down and still have faith that you're going to pick up the 1st down and keep the chains moving. That's how good this Wildcats offense is. And if you throw those 2 Hail Marys, you got a good shot at completing them with what we've seen from Luke Richardson. He develops and he looks better every single week.
Here's Luke wants to throw it again. He's got a man open and he hit him in the helmet. Was that Punslin or Bass? That was Punslin. Another nicely thrown ball by Luke.
Luke is dropping some dimes.
And let's give some kudos to the offensive line. You know, they get often overlooked in this running game. And, man, what holes they open. And they give Luke time to throw when he wants to throw it. I don't remember a lot of times Luke has been sacked outside of the South Warren game, maybe a time or two. But they give him plenty of time. He wants to throw it again. He does. Covington catches that one. If you have to wonder if the Wildcats want to make a statement, they're throwing it up 35-0 late in the 3rd quarter. And that's all I'll say about that.
And that's after opting not to implement the running clock.
Yes. And that was a Wildcat 1st down, by the way.
And what's interesting about those hitch routes that we saw the Wildcats just execute there, we've seen the Wildcats kind of sprinkle that into the offense with Covington. His yards per reception have actually increased since they started doing that. It's because it's opened up so much more his vertical route. So if he picks up 10 yards on one of those hitch routes, it gives him a much better shot of maybe picking up a 30 or 40-yard gainer later on.
He's such a big target out there. 1st and 10 from the 26. Richardson rolls right, wants to throw it. That ball's batted down at the line. He was looking for Carlos.
Richardson pass intended for McKinney is incomplete.
And it's such a, this offense is such an anomaly in the fact that, you know, they work in reverse. A lot of offenses work pass, you get up 35-0, you start running the ball.
Right.
This offense works run, you get up 35-0, start throwing the ball.
And the fact that no other team does that, it works so beautifully because you come out there and you fully expect them to run it every play, and they come out throwing. You might be a little insulted at first, but if it works, it works.
They're going to throw it again. Luke across the middle. That one's going to be picked off. And there's a reason maybe not to throw it up 35-0.
And those are the growing pains you're going to have with the freshman quarterback in there. Coming off a couple of really good games, he's feeling it. You're going to have those situations where you've had 2 throws earlier where you threw perfect passes and the receivers just weren't able to make plays. Might get a little bit frustrated, try to force a throw in there. And that's just something that's going to happen as a freshman quarterback in your first season under the helm.
3rd turnover of the night for the Wildcats. As of yet, they have not come back to haunt. .126 left, 3rd quarter, 35-0. Wildcats are in command. And Warren East has it on their own 5-yard line. Here's a handoff. Maxey. He's being chased by Chase Gooch for a 2 or 3-yard loss.
Plays like that from Chaser, I always try to group him in there with that linebacker group. He's not technically a linebacker. He's technically a strong safety, but he was always up in there in the box making plays, getting behind the line of scrimmage. He's just right there with all the linebackers and tackles for loss. This defense as a whole knows how to get in the backfield, sniff out plays, and then make the play and finish it.
Loss of 2. Forward standing in his own end zone. Maxey to his right. Handoff. Maxey. A lot of running room. He's across the 15, near the 20, has a Raider first down, and a flag comes in really, really late.
I think they're going to end up calling a late hit there. Some Wildcats dove in a little bit late. I didn't know if they were going to call it or not, and then the flag did come in. As you said, that was pretty delayed.
Dead ball. Personal foul against the Wildcats on that late hit. So that'll cost them the big play plus 15. That'll take the ball all the way out to the 36-yard line. 30 seconds left, 3rd quarter. Forward in the shotgun, takes a snap, gives it to Maxey. He's hitting the backfield.
That's Trayvon.
Trayvon, good night. Good night. He hit him hard. I had to say it.
Just about any time you see a guy in the backfield immediately, at this point, there's about a 50-50 shot it's Trayvon or anybody else. That dude has had such an impact since returning to this defense.
And that's going to do it. 3rd quarter comes to an end with the Wildcats leading at 35-0. They outscore the Raiders there in the 3rd quarter, 14-0. We'll be back for 4th quarter action right after this. You're listening to Wildcat Football on WFKN. Back at Jim Ross Field, Warren East High School update from South Warren. Spartans lead the Purples 17-5. About 9 minutes left in the 3rd quarter. South Warren defense is tough, tough, tough. Handoff. Maxey, not much.
Maxey on the carry.
It was 2nd and 14. He didn't get back to the original line of scrimmage. He might have got 2. I knew when South Warren played Ravenwood out of Tennessee and beat them the way they did, that defense is legit.
I mean, we watched them blink our first team
Yes.
offense. That game was a shutout until both teams brought in their second units. That defense is one of the probably the best I've seen this season. It's going to be the best that a lot of people see this season.
3rd and 13. They just gave him 1 on that carry. Handoff. Maxey. 1 or 2 on that, and that's it. And that'll bring up a long 4th down for the Raiders. I think at this point the Raiders have begun to wave the white flag. And they're probably almost to the point where they wish there was a running clock right now.
And that's one thing about this Wildcats unit. You could tell the defense, they were still ready to game. They still came out there on that possession. Every single play jumping off the line, trying to make a play. And that's what makes this team so good. At no point in the game, whether they're up by a certain amount, down by a certain amount, they never stop playing.
Forward on to punt it away on 4th and 12. Snap is back. He has it. Gets it away. High kick. Stutzman takes it, drops it, and Warren East has it. So the 4th turnover of the night for the Wildcats. And those are things you have to clean up as you progress here in the next few weeks. Adams recovered it for the Raiders, and they'll take over at the Wildcat 35-yard line.
Seems like we need to get everybody a new set of gloves or something. We've had all the fumbles. We've had some drop passes as well. The rain, of course, a factor in that, but at the same time, you still can't afford to have those mistakes. Even in a game where you're up by 5 touchdowns, you want to try to clean that stuff up because teams are going to watch the tape and they're going to see that you've done this even in this kind of low-pressure scenario. Teams see that you have this weakness that they can try to exploit.
Forward gives it to Maxey. He's in a world of hurt. He basically just runs it out of bounds. Over on the far side. Picked up about 3 yards. 2 yards. 2nd and 8.
At the 33.
Just over 10 minutes left here in the ball game. Snap. Pitch back to Maxey. He's hit hard. Gets away from it somehow. Chase Gooch knew what Thomas Maxey had for breakfast. He got him so early. Maxey somehow spins out of it, but a host of Wildcats finish him off in the backfield.
There's not much you can say about that one. Chase just darted back there as soon as the play began, had sniffed out that pitch play all over Maxey in the backfield. Wasn't able to finish it, but with that hit was able to disrupt the play enough for all the Wildcats to get back there and finish the play.
Franklin Simpson calls the timeout with 9:35 left. We'll keep it here. Tisdale's playing. He just fumbled.
That was Davis's excuse for us being right.
6:23 in the 3rd quarter. South Warren 17, Bowling Green 5. Vito Tisdale just fumbled, and the Spartans recover.
He just can't handle us being right about something.
I know.
We've had it. We've been pretty on today in this game, and then hopefully that prediction that we had stands. Not so much that we care about the outcome, but we just like to be right sometimes. Feels
Every
good.
once in a while. Logan County led Callaway County 30-7 at halftime. Third and 11 for the Raiders at the Wildcat 36. Forward, empty backfield. Takes a snap, and whistles are going to blow this play dead. Dead ball. False start.
Penalty on the play, false start against the Raiders.
So that'll make it 3rd and 16. I doubt there's a person in this stadium right now that doesn't wish there was a running clock because we'd all be on our way home by now.
And that's on both sides, not
On
just
both
the Warren
sides,
East
yes,
fans,
both
Franklin
sides.
Simpson fans as
Absolutely.
well. And I'm sure that might be creeping into the coaching staff's mind as well.
Ford wants to throw it on 3rd and 16. Throws it way over everybody's head. Nowhere near a receiver. His closest receiver 10 yards away probably. That'll bring up a 4th and long. Gotta think they'll go for it.
We might have to ask Coach Preston about that in the post game.
Excuse me, 4th and 17.
Now number 7, Cameron Davidson.
Oh, took away out the game.
Did they?
Yeah, took him out. Or is he saying something? No, I think he's receiving.
Cameron Davidson in at quarterback for the Raiders. Maxey goes in motion. Throw it to Maxey. He has a 1st down. No, I'm sorry, I'm looking at the wrong down mark. I forgot
It looked like a 4th and 7, but it was a 4th and 17.
Davidson's pass is complete to number 11, D. Gilbert. Tackled by Goodnight.
And Brian, I have to say, I noticed on that play that every single person involved you identified as Thomas Maxey. And I hate to break it to you, but not one of them
Oh, really?
were Thomas
I
Maxey.
can't tell. I'm just guessing.
Dude went into motion. That's Thomas Maxey. And then a different guy catches the ball.
Hey.
And he's Thomas Maxey. I love it.
I can't tell. I really can't. Here's a long run. Carlos McKinney across midfield. 45, 40, 35.
McKinney on the carry.
I know who that was. And that's all that counts.
Can always tell who it is because he's dragging 4 or 5 people with him. That guy stiff-armed a guy to the ground so hard, went down with him.
What was that a gain of, Brian?
34. That puts him at 130 for the night.
34-yard gain. He's at 130
Franklin Simpson first down. The ball is placed at the Warren East 35.
on the night. 8:45 left. Come on, guys. Get in the end zone here. Luke wants to throw. Hitch route to looking for Covington, but it's broken up, deflected. Like Luke didn't quite get enough air under that to start with.
And you know it has to feel good if you're the Wildcats, especially Carlos and Trey, when you've both by yourselves probably doubled up Maxey in rushing yards. A great performance by those two. 5 touchdowns, all 5 on the board for the Wildcats between those guys. Carlos had the 2 from about 2 or 3 inches out total. And then Trey has just been running all over the field, breaking out the big play.
The handoff to Bass. 25. Cuts back. Now he's back at the 30. And he back to the 26 and runs out of bounds. So he ran about 40 yards, gained 9 on the play, I think. I don't know where they mark it. Yeah, he's about a yard short of the first down.
That was about like watching Randall Cobb back when he was at UK
Yeah.
running the football. I remember a play in particular. Dude probably ran about 60 yards in a straight semicircle around. And when you got a motor like Trey Bass, I mean, hey, if you see some way to create extra space, and of course you know he's got the mind to see that, you know, moving forward, even if I go backwards, there's an opportunity for me to gain more yards than I would have if I just kept moving forward.
Trey goes out. Gooch comes in. He gets the handoff. Needs a 1 yard. He has it. And then some. Still on his feet. Still on his feet. Inside the 15 to the 13-yard line. Give Chase 13 yards. Only needed 1. But there is a flag down. I think the flags blend in with Warren East uniforms. That's why I can't see them. more people will hit the exits.
The penalty is a personal foul on Warren
Yep.
East.
Personal foul on Warren East. Moves the ball now to be half the distance to the goal.
The ball is placed at the
To the
6-yard
6-yard line. So first and goal there for the Wildcats. Handoff. Partinger gets a great block, and he'll stroll into the end zone. That was a great block by Dalton Hunter. Got to give Dalton some credit right there.
You touched on it earlier, the offensive line. All season long, in every situation of football, you tend to overlook the offensive line, whether it be a bad situation where the quarterback's playing poorly because he has no time to throw, or a great situation like the Wildcats have, where every single time they go to run the football, there is just a big hole waiting for whoever has it. This offensive line has been fueling this offense all season long. That, in combination with the playmakers they have, this offense is on such a great roll. And it's good to see Tedrick get in the end zone. He's due for one this game.
So officially 6-yard touchdown run, makes it 41-0. Cole on for the extra point. And it's blocked. But nevertheless, it is 41-0. We have a running clock, hopefully. It's not running right now, but I think it'll start once the kickoff happens.
And I don't think there is one person in this stadium that will disagree with that. Great performance from the Wildcats so far. Up now 41-0. The offense came to play like we expected them to. And this was a really good Warren East offense coming into this matchup. We knew it would be a good challenge for Franklin Simpson. And so far, this Wildcats defense has been up to the test and more, playing a fabulous game, containing Maxey in this Raiders offense.
That was a 5-play, 31-yard drive in a minute and 42 seconds. Wildcat scoring drive brought to you by Brent Thacker and your All-Star Insurance team at Ohio Valley Insurance. Give them a call at 270-253-5016. 41-0. And outside of, 4 turnovers by the Wildcats? Just think of where we might be. Well, we might be home is where we might be. Kickoff is into the end zone. Have to inject a little humor into a 41-0 ball.
Yeah, I'd say we'd be talking to Coach Preston by now. We wouldn't have to question why it was this game is still going on.
Clock's running. It's just about 6.5 minutes left, so Warren East will have it at their own 20-yard line.
And if you're Warren East, the score is 41-0. Franklin does have the 41 points on the board, but you can't help but be pretty happy with the way that your defense performed for most of this game. They were just left out there on the field for too long. If anything, you come away disappointed with the performance of your offense.
Ball's on the ground, and the Wildcats had it. I don't know if they still have it or not. Not sure who that was on the carry. The Wildcats do have it.
I think that right there, Brian, was the football gods rewarding the Wildcats for finally putting on that running clock.
32. Tysium Day was on that carry. His first carry of the night, and he coughed it up. So Wildcats have it, and we'll see. Looks like the Wildcats, I can't tell if Luke's out there or not. They're going to have it at
There's Gavin right there.
20-yard line. Gavin Finch at running back, quarterback for the Wildcats.
And Brian, in case Warren East is back out there to help you out, KHSAA says that you can call Day Ty. You can just refer to him as Ty.
Good.
I know you don't want to have to try to spit that name out.
Finch under center, takes a snap, gives it to Gooch. A lot of running room. He's running hard tonight. He's still on his feet. Inside the 15 to almost to the 10. Let's say he's out at the 11, so 14 yards for Chase Gooch. I think they're trying to get Chase in the end zone.
I agree. You could tell on that last drive they really wanted to get Tedrick in there. Of course, he deserves it, man. He has been so good all season long. Anytime he gets in the end zone is great for this Wildcats team. Such a good back in there in that relief role for Trey and Carlos.
Handoff. Guess who? Chase Gooch. He is pushed out of bounds at the 5-yard line. Give him 6 yards on that carry. The second and goal at the, actually they got it inside the 5. And we'll call it the 5. They can get a first down without scoring. Handoff. Gooch. Same play. And he's close. Tell me something, ref. He's down.
Don't give us another 1-inch
just
touchdown.
Inside wow, just outside the goal line.
I think they really just want our yards per carry numbers. If there's anything that comes out of this game that's a negative for the Wildcats, they want that to be it. They want our yards per carry numbers to look a little bit worse after this game.
Whoever's running the down and the stuff on the scoreboard has just given up. He's still showing 1st and 10 at the 11.
Hey, but let's give him credit. The clock is running. We have had issues with running clocks not running.
It is a first down for Gooch as he runs it and loses a yard or 2 on that carry.
I'm not going to say a word about the scoreboard operator if that clock is running.
Yes. As long as they don't mess that up. That's Charles Lewis.
Yeah, our good friend Charles.
Yeah.
He takes a lot of pride in his timekeeper job, too. He refers to himself. He says, hey, I'm the timekeeper for Warren Easton. Charles, you are doing a fantastic job.
Now they're showing it's 4th down, so I don't know what
Hey, Charles, he's not running the scoreboard. He just runs the clock. That's all he takes responsibility for is the time.
At any rate, it's 2nd down and goal from about the 3 or 4 yard line. Finch fumbles a snap, picks it up, and I thought he was in.
Looked like he was in.
Just short.
Oh, my goodness.
At the about 1 foot line. It'll be 3rd down.
You know, if the Wildcats can punch it in here, this would somehow be their probably 3rd shortest touchdown of the game.
It'll be 3rd down at the 1.
So 3rd and goal at the 1. Finch may keep this one. Nope. Chase Gooch. Touchdown, Wildcats. With 1:40 left. A 1-yard touchdown run. Chase Gooch. There is a flag down.
Celebration. It's gotta be. It's gotta be celebration penalty.
Unsportsmanlike conduct against Warren East.
Penalty is unsportsmanlike conduct on Warren East.
So it's 47-0.
And, Brian, I knew we had seen Chase score on an interception return touchdown. No, that was Tedrick that had the interception return touchdown. So that means all season long this is Chase's first touchdown.
I believe that's right. Yeah.
I figured he might have made it into the end zone once or twice, but now we know why they wanted him to get it in so badly. And I'm sure he'll remember that play.
Wildcats are going to go for 2. They'll probably kneel it.
No, they're gonna need it.
Finch is in the shotgun. Looks like they're going to take a delay of game. Excuse me. They're just going to let the clock run out.
Yeah.
That's the right thing to do.
Right thing to do. Right thing to do.
That'll do it. Wildcats are your district champions. For the third straight year, they defeat the Warren East Raiders by final score 47-0. You're listening to Wildcat Football on WFKN. Man.
All right.
Oh, man. I think I'm going to die.